Hello, teacher. How are you? My name is Isabel Decinos. I'm going to show you my ID card. Okay, very good. Okay, today we're going to talk about journal articles. Journal articles are short documents written by experts in order to communicate significant information. The peer review process is what makes these documents special because it means that it's a reliable information related to any research or any investigation and scientific information into this journal. Okay, in this part, we have the preliminary section. Here we have the, okay. Here we have the title of the journal. It's Research on Virtual Education, Inclusion and Diversity, a systematic review of scientific publications. Okay. Then the second part is the abstract. The abstract is a short paragraph when it contains the summary and the whole information about the journal. It contains important details of the paper. It's the background information, where the writers specific which the methods it used to sustain this research, what are the results, but it's just like a general idea of it. So here we have the abstract. It's related to the originality in the university. It talks about the population, about in the academic environment, specifically in the virtual education, and it concerns about the equality and equity, about how teachers employ the virtual education due to the pandemic situation. Then the third part we have to consider in the journal article is the introduction. In the introduction, we provide theoretical support, which allows us to understand why the experiment was conducted. The introduction should describe your previous research on the topic, hypotheses, objectives that will reach during this research. And this introduction is related to the challenges in education that we faced in the pandemic situation, and all the we have to adapt the education to continue study in the virtual mode. Okay. And the methods that we use to sustain our research is important. In this part, in the methodology, the authors includes all the details to develop and sustain the research. In this section, it's essential in any journal article or any other research work because it provides the readers an overview of the reliability and the validity of the whole research. For example, here in this part, we have it's extensive research. We use systematic review, the whole literature reviewer. We used techniques and instruments to collect all the data information related to the specific point that we want to research, to find a guarantee. And for example, we can notice that we use questionnaires in order to collect all the information. Okay, and the results. In this part, the authors will present all the data gathered and analyzed through pictures, tables, observation, even the questionnaires that I mentioned before, because we use questionnaires in order to collect data to sustain the research. The function of this section is basically to summarize the general idea regarding to the data collections without any, well, employing an interpretation about the results we obtained. The results can be a statistical test applying to our data are reported in this section. Okay, in this case, the second part we need to consider is the discussion part. In this section, we will analyze the data and relate them to other studies in order to contrast or compare the results we got, all the topic that we chose to do the research. To analyze means basically to evaluate the meaning of your results in terms to the original questions or the hypothesis that you made before to doing the research. In this article, in the journal article, we don't have the discussion part, but we have the conclusion. The conclusion is where the authors establish a conclusion. It's like an end of the research. Following a thorough study and of the findings of this section. The study shortcomings are frequently included along with some suggestions for the future research projects. And the references. Here is basically when we are going to include all the bibliographic information used to sustain the research, given the credit to the authors. However, it is recommended that the writers use only reliable sources to be included in the paper. Hence, consulting in trustworthy journal articles and books is always the best option. Okay, so that's all the parts we need to consider in order to write or to search any journal article, because all these parts gives reliability to the research project. Basically, because it's the most important parts we need to be aware, because it's all these parts gives like a general idea of what the research is about. I think the most important part for me is the abstract. In the abstract, you will find all the background information about the research, and you don't will waste your time reading the whole journal. Instead, you can read just the abstract and you will find all the information that you required. So that's basically of the parts about the journal articles. Thank you for hearing me.